give their debt is by signing it with your golden signature. You're the shareholder of a corporation, right? So by signing it with your golden signature, gets rid of all debt when you become a secure creditor. And by doing that, you take back the estate or the birth certificate, which is a real estate. This is a bond. This is your estate that they have wrongly created without your knowledge, which is a felony, which is treason, which is so much horrible things that you can think of, which is genocide, you guys. This is genocide. So what we do is we create a UCC1 to bring us up to a higher status with the protection of the Geneva and Hague. Okay, Geneva Convention and Hague. And because we are putting ourselves on a not at war status, we are not at war. Taking us out of the enemy of the state status, which they've enacted back in the early 30s, okay? That we are criminals of war. This is a real terrorist act that had happened back then. And it didn't just happen back in 1933. It goes all the way back to 1871, maybe even before that. But then some say it's even way to the Vatican. But I have videos explaining that. But back in 1871, what happened was our last president was Abraham Lincoln. Did you know that? He was the one who knew what was going on with the bankers. After all, that's what's going on between the government and the bankers. They're pretty much at war with each other, and they've been at war since then. What happened was Abraham Lincoln knew what was happening with the American people. He tried to bring back the greenback, issuing the treasury notes that had some backup, which was our gold and silver, okay, which was our wealth. And he saw what the bankers were doing. They were bringing in their little FRN IOU notes, which is exactly what they are. FRN notes, your pounds, your Australian dollars, it's all of that. Mexican peso, they're all funny money because they are all debt notes, okay? The only way that can overcome this debt is our golden signature. But he knew this, he knew that was going on. So what he did is he put a lien on all the Americans to protect them, to protect their wealth from the bankers. Okay, and so what he did was he invoked martial law, bringing him as the commander-in-chief, which is like the CEO, not the CEO of the corporation like what Obama is, because that's what he is. He is a CEO of a corporation, which is the United States Corporation. So what Abraham Lincoln was, he went from president status to commander-in-chief status, where he had the opportunity to put a lien on all the states, or the republic, okay? And what happened was the Constitution was really in effect around that time. But when the bankers came involved, what happened? He got murdered. So therefore, he was only putting it on in martial law only for a little bit until the bankers gave up and left. And then brought everything back under the Constitution and everything. Now, in the Constitution, it is written that there are 13 colonies, okay? This was the estate. The estate was fractured back then. It's been fractured since then. So what does that mean? When it's fractured, the Constitution no longer applies. When Abraham Lincoln got murdered, that was the murder of our last president. Therefore, the Constitution, any of that, none of those laws applied anymore, okay? Because the estate was fractured, which involved the 13 colonies. So, I mean, there's a lot more going on that meets the eye, but I'm just kind of giving you a background of what the birth certificate really is. You know, when you look at that, when you look at your vehicle registration, when you register, what is registration? Again, you're registering over to the state. Okay? So the way that we handle things, the way that we handle these entities, knowing what happened, knowing what wrongfully happened, we grow up a little bit. And by growing up, we tend to say, you know what, we don't want to fight. We're not at war with any of you. Whatever happened back then, that was back then. And we're here, we're waking up now to who we really are. We're becoming more conscious. We're becoming more responsible to take full responsibility of our own person. And therefore, we become secure creditors that are able to take that corporate name and move it the way that we want to move it now. We take it from their hands back into our hands to move it the way we want to move it, you see. That's what a secure creditor is. It isn't saying, oh, give up your driver's license, oh, give up this and that, and live on the farm, and you know what I mean, live out of commerce. No, we are living within the commerce, which is fine, as long as you are the one who has the upper hand. You have the power of attorney general over that straw man name or the government franchise name. We don't like to use straw man name, okay? So that's what we do. And with that, every time we get a letter in the mail or a debt or a lawsuit or whatever, we just beautifully accept it with a smile, and we send it off to the private corporations such as the IRS or local treasuries. We send it off to them because they know exactly what needs to be done. We don't ever send it back to the public, because the public are your courts, your judges, your creditors, third-party creditors. And that's another thing. I get a lot of clients asking me, well, how do I deal with these creditors? What do I do? So easy, so simple. You got to remember, these people these entities are calling you for money, yet they have no paperwork to prove that they're even operating as a for-profit corporation, meaning, okay, yeah, they say that they're a for-profit corporation, but they don't have their paperwork as far as having a tax registration certificate. They don't pay their taxes. They cannot provide proof that this is a real debt that is against you. Original contract. And you need to ask them something too. You need to ask these third-party creditors, if I don't pay you, will that mean that your business will go under? You need to ask them that. Ask the court that. If I don't pay you, will your business go under? Of course it won't, because they're terrorists, okay? They are operating as terrorists that took over the United States of America, okay? There's a lot of things going on back then, but that was one of the things that have happened, and especially has happened all over the world, and not just the United States. So it's very good to educate yourself to know exactly the power of what your birth certificate is, who you are, why you're finding out that the government has the right and authority to tell you what to do and how to do it with your kids, that your kids need to go to school. If they don't go to school, you go to jail or they go to jail. Wait a second. Since when does authority come and tell you what to do and how to do it? Like your parents. Something isn't right, and you need to be the adult enough to ask those questions. Why am I being ruled over by these beings, these entities who look just like us? They're human being like us, and they're telling us what to do. All they have is a badge. And they're telling you how to act. And it all begins from school. When you put your children into public school system, this is where the brainwashing begins. It gets started from then, where the kids have to listen to authority. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Already brainwashed. I mean, one thing is to listen to you, as parents. They have to respect you, of course. But it's even worse in the public system, because now they got to respect other authorities and strangers they never even knew before. So that gets them ready for the brainwashing. So this has been going on for many, many years. This has been going on for a long time. So when a cop pulls us over, right away, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I mean, heck, I was in the Army back then. I was in the Army back in 2002. So I'm very full aware of being broken down and getting built back up again. And everything was yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. It was like constantly abiding by the rules like a slave. That's why my kids are no longer in school. They are non-schooled. Anytime they want to learn something, they want to learn web design, they want to learn multiplication, get on Google. Not a problem. Piece of cake. They know how to read very well. They know how to write very well. They will not go to public school because of that. And when you put your kids in public school, what are you doing? You have just enrolled and registered them into the public school, so that way they can take your children from you, your property, which is also property of the state, by the way. That is why it's so important to put your children on your UCC-1 as your collateral. Even trademark their names on a federal level. Look it up. trademark their names, trademark your name, put it on a UCC one as well. That's one step to protect your children, but you want to do it before the thing happens, okay? You don't want to wait till the last minute when your kids were taken from you. And this is why I'm educating you, because me as a parent, I find it is so important that parents need to spend time with their children instead of slaving themselves as laborers for the corporation, that you'll never move up. You'll never move on top. Never. As a debtor status. You want to move up as a secure creditor status where you're operating on the private side to cancel all their debts, because we have the power to forgive their debts. Why? We're also because we're also from the Almighty Source. We have the power to do it. We have the power to create our own reality as well. So just wanted to share this with you all, what we're about, and we can help you gain back that power, gain back your estate, and be able to wipe out all charges that are against you. The Inquisition, that's against us all. Okay? So please check out my website, www.securecreditor.com, for more information. We're now having a Halloween offer now, Halloween special, where you can actually get the package done for a very low price, and also do the package on your own through our automated system, and also take advantage of the e-course. I'm also going to be doing a webinar on 13th, 14th, and 15th of November to share with you exactly how this is done, and also teach you the tools and ways of discharging debt. We've been having a lot of success, and I'm so excited about that. We've been having success with student loans, people wiping out mortgage. This lady, she believes that they're finally have gotten off her back, and by following me to a T, my instructions to a T, in a very peaceful way, not fighting with them with big signs and everything. Very peaceful way of doing it. We operate very peacefully, and we deal with them with letters. We don't ever go to court, because that is not our playground. We operate on the private side and only deal with the private side. Pretty awesome, huh? So if you're interested in what you're hearing, and you want to know if your birth certificate can wipe out debt, of course it can. Doesn't matter what country you're from. Check out www.securecreditor.com, and also message me or email me on Sovereign Magic with a K, Sovereign Magic, Magic MAGICK @gmail.com. I'm Reverend Joanna Johnston. It was a pleasure to bring this to your attention, to wake you up, and anything that I have to do to wake humanity up, so be it. So mote it be. Take care.
Get your message or business promoted on John Henry Media Network. Make contact today. Use this email address, jahu.enterprises@yahoo.com. That's jahu.enterprises@yahoo.com. Again, that's jahu.enterprises@yahoo.com. For specific details on submitting your audio to make it happen, it will be aired on our very next episode for a small donation of your choice. So let's make it happen right now.
I pray away, oh, I